Welcome back. I'm Wistric. These are my FunkoPops. We've been talking about 5-on-5s, so you may be surprised to see only a 3-on-3. As I was planning this, these videos, my buddy Sir Yazi called me up and said, "Hey, I want to talk about like triad tactics and why I don't see fencers using them." So he and I had to sit down and talk through triad tactics. I talked about doing 3-2 splits, especially in that hammer and anvil style, or as part of the 3-2 stack that the turnip farmers use. But I never really think too much about that 3, because that 3 is usually a line fight, and I hate line fights. So I don't think about stuff that can happen there. So he and I talked through kind of how some of the standard tactics, some of the standard plays that heavy fighters use in their triad fighting, because heavy fighters do triads. It's their, for most kingdoms, as far as I can tell, it's their basic subunit. Fencers kind of do a basic subunit of 5 that can then break up further. So let's talk about that broken up further subunit of 3. So the standard X basic idea is crossing targets, and not like just throwing cross shots. That's just a line fight. But instead, we're really into basketball picks. So our big intimidating fighter attacks Brienne, drawing her attention, and Yara's. Brienne needs better teammates. There we go. Okay. And in that moment, and so the timing on this is important. In that moment, the center fighter peels off, so that the team reorients into 2 in the front, with the intimidating fighter holding the attention of Arya and Brienne, while this flanker comes in. Arya's probably going to see it and start falling back, but now you've disrupted this unit, and big intimidating fighter can finish the kill on Brienne. That's the standard X. So another way that can be achieved, if you have 2 people, who can kind of be intimidating, is they both throw the attack into the center. You'll notice basically what the idea is that as they attack into here, they cover it. They eliminate him as a threat, but also they eliminate all attention on blue, so blue can peel off to a flank. Again, turning this 3-on-3 line fight into a 3-on-2. 2 skirmishers in front who have kind of faked an attack into the faked pressure in to draw the counter attack, during which they fall back, and our flanker ends up in position on a flank. All of these need a bit of practice, a bit of training. But if you only have 3 people, if you only have 6 people show up at your practice, you can still train these. Let's see. Along the lines of that faking pressure to draw attention, if we can have 2 fighters sort of fake in that pressure to draw an attack, and then to fall back under that attack, or if just these 2 fighters are super aggro, these 2 can just fall back. Heavy fighters, the way Yazi was describing it, heavy fighters will do a straight fallback. I'm thinking with fencers, because of the way our weapons work, the way our targeting works, a fallback this way, so that you prevent a flank pressure. And if these 2 are wanting to apply flank pressure, then you need to fall back in a way that herds them back towards the middle, so that the big fighter can drop the center one, and then jumping and killing happens. the a variant on what we talked about with some of the 3-on-1s and the 1-3-1 envelopment splits is using your mod to draw all the attention while these two flank over here are using your big tiny fighter. And that just is a matter of timing again. All of this comes down really to timing and the quick punch counter punch timing that, again, FEs are a little more familiar with than fencers. But the idea of boom, 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 action, reaction, exploitation, or provocation, counter, exploitation, conclusion. Right. You can do kind of a 3-person variant of the turnip farmer's 3-2 stack, right? You can do a 2-1 stack. So these come up, and now this fighter has the opportunity to peel off this way, or these split while this fighter jumps in, because as these split, the flanks are going to be turning. So our big intimidating fighter jumps in to draw attention back, throwing off their attention long enough to get hammered. You can do a simultaneous, you've got your runner, you can do basically a simultaneous pick by 2 of your fighters to free up the runner to go around. So again, just unified, because if just this person jumps in, they're going to get hit. These 2 jump in. This one's making sure to cover the counterattack from Jon Snow, and that frees up the runner to go around the flank. And the other way to do that is the step in, and the runner goes around the other flank. So kind of do-si-do this way. Yeah, and if you want to go real fancy, and depending on how intimidating your big fighter is, the step in with both of these 2 peeling off to flank. Again, it kind of depends on the quality of this fighter and their abilities. So those are heavy triad tactics that you can make work on the fencing field. We run more than they do, and we have a little bit of faster reaction times and less of a easy defense. So there's a little more vulnerability into these actions that involve a high pressure attack, or especially a step towards measure. But they can be done, and they can be practiced by your smaller unit that shows up to your local practice. And the basic idea, again, is to focus the enemy's attention on one spot, on one target or 2 targets, to free up your 3rd fighter or 2 fighters to make an attack somewhere else, to move quickly to get to that new location, that new position. So that's triad tactics.